What's up, beautiful people? It's me, Dr. Giselle Martin, aka Dr. Jazzy Fit. So this week I'm going to be launching a series called The Brain, Two Doctors, One Conversation, where I'm talking to one of my friends and colleagues, Dr. Philippe Douyon, who is a board-certified neurologist in the New York City area. And we are going to be delving into several different topics around the brain, around mental health, and how to really heal and have a great life. So in this first video, we're just going to be talking about ways that you and I can survive quarantine. Welcome everybody. Thank you so much for joining my YouTube channel today. With us today we have Dr. Philippe Duyon. He is going to talk with me today a little bit about just brain health and some of the things that we can do to maintain a positive mental state of being as we're going through quarantine and all of the changes that are coming about in society. So welcome, Dr. Duyon. Will you please tell us a little bit about yourself, please?
Well, thank you for having me. So I am a board-certified neurologist. I spent the last 6 years of my career as an epilepsy specialist in the New York, New Jersey area. I'm the author of the book, Neuroplasticity, Your Brain's Superpower, which talks about how our brain changes, how our brain heals, how our brain learns. I'm the creator of the game, the app, Dr. Duyon's Brain Fit, which is a game that teaches people about how food and exercise impacts their overall health, but especially the health of their brain. And I'm also the founder of the company, the Inley Brain Fit Institute, which is a health and wellness company.
Awesome. That's quite a lot. I've been wondering when you ever sleep, but thank you so much for making time to talk with us today. So I want to kind of expound a little bit more. What exactly is the Brain Fit Institute and how can people learn about it?
Yeah, so, as a neurologist, I think a lot of people would be surprised to know that a lot of what I see throughout my day, it's not because of some primary neurological disease. It's really the impact that preventable chronic diseases have on the brain. And so for me, what I noticed is that I was having the biggest impact on my patients' lives. It wasn't when I was prescribing them medications or even taking them to the operating room. It was really when I was teaching them about how to look at their life and their health differently. And so we know that exercise has a tremendous impact on the brain. It gives the brain everything that it needs to be as healthy as possible. And so I created a program where essentially we create exercise regimens for patients based on their medical and neurological needs.
Wow. Okay. That's pretty cutting edge. So guys, I hope that you go and check it out. Dr. Duyon, what is the website for them to view or learn more about?
www.inlbrainfitinstitute.com.
Wonderful. Thank you for sharing. So I wanted to ask you because, people are kind of going stir crazy. You see all kinds of things if you're scrolling through your social media timeline. Some people are really freaked out about coronavirus and being in the house and just the uncertainty of everything that's going on. What are some tools that you would give to anyone who's listening to you to help them kind of cope and keep stress at bay? I mean, maybe talk a little bit about the impact of stress on the brain and positive thinking as well?
Sure. So this is definitely a scary time for a lot of people, and understandably so. But one thing that people need to realize is that the most important times in our life, the times of the biggest growth, the biggest change, isn't necessarily because of what we're going through in the moment. It's not necessarily because of what we know, but it's really about what we think about what we're going through. So our thoughts really do matter. And so you'll have a group of people that are paralyzed by fear in this moment. And this is definitely a scary time. And you'll have another group of people that look at this period of time as a really great opportunity, as long as they're staying healthy and the people around them are staying healthy. And they'll look at this as a challenge that needs to be overcome. They'll look at this as an opportunity to work on things that they've always wanted to work on. They'll look at this as an opportunity to really change their lives. I think a lot of people have been living mediocre lives at best. And this is a really good time to reflect, reevaluate, and decide what you want your life to look like going forward. And so what we think really matters. And our thoughts are incredibly powerful, right? And so however you decide to cope with this particular situation, as long as it works for you, is okay. But I know for me, what's most important is really to look at the positive aspects of this moment in time. I can't think of another time in my lifetime where you just get a huge bulk of time at home to spend with loved ones, to spend with families, to be able to interact with friends through social media and through the telephone, and really to reflect on the life that you really want to create for yourself.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I know I personally have been taking advantage of this time here at home to get ahead, and not to kind of detract from some of the pain that people are experiencing, because realistically, some people are grieving. They've lost loved ones. Some people have lost jobs. For those individuals, how can they too adapt or maintain a level of gratitude and appreciation, and kind of stay motivated, even though they're experiencing pain at the same time?
Yeah, and I think, look, this is going to be a tough time for a lot of people. And if people have lost loved ones, they should certainly undergo the normal grieving process. Nobody's telling them not to do that. But I think that their loved ones would want them to be able to move on and create a really incredible life for themselves. And so I think that's where, for all of us, our focus needs to be. It really needs to be being grateful for the health that we do have, for the things that we do have, being grateful for the opportunities to create a wonderful life. And so, yeah, I think that that's really important for all of us to sort of take that perspective.
I agree. I absolutely agree. So if, in light of that, with everyone else who's watching, what are 5 key takeaways that they could bring from this talk, even though it's short, that they could bring into their rest of their lives? You know, things like maybe waking up in the morning and maintaining the same schedule that they usually did before. Maybe even if it's not, okay, I'm waking up at 5 o'clock in the morning, at least get up at 6 and, maintain a similar schedule. What are some things that are similar to that people can adopt that would help them kind of take the mindset off of what they're going through and shift it into something positive?
Yeah, so I think the first thing to take away is that our thoughts matter. Our thoughts are incredibly powerful in terms of shaping the lives that we truly want. And so be mindful of the things that you're taking in, because that's going to influence what you think. And so for me, I know that I've had to spend less and less time listening to the news, because that's not as productive for me, right? I'll listen really quick just to be updated on what's going on, but I'm not going to spend hours in front of the TV, right? Because that's going to take my thoughts to a place that's not going to be productive and useful for what it is that I'm trying to accomplish. So I think that that's really important. Always be mindful of who are the loudest voices in your life and what the voices in your head are telling you, right? Because that's going to play a huge role. The second thing I would say is be grateful, right? A lot of people went to bed last night and did not wake up this morning for a variety of reasons that have nothing to do with coronavirus. Some certainly for that reason. And so if you woke up this morning and you're feeling good, be grateful for that. If you have family that are healthy, be grateful for that. If you have opportunities, be grateful for that also. I think that just because we are practicing being in quarantine and sort of the social isolation, you don't want to necessarily be completely isolated from family and friends. And so this is a really great time to use social media for what I think it was meant for, right? I think when we look back over the last decade, I've always said that social media has made us increasingly antisocial. But this is really a great opportunity to use it to be as social as possible, right? So whether it is using it to communicate with family and friends, using it to take online exercise classes in a group of people, using it to participate in webinars and seminars, so that way you are learning and evolving and growing. I think all of that is incredibly important. The fourth thing that I would say is that you need to move, you need to exercise, right? Exercise is the greatest anti-anxiety, antidepressant, anti-stress therapy that we have. Our bodies are meant to move, and at the helm of that is our brain. So it's not just that our brains tell our bodies how to move, but our bodies feed back onto our brains to give our brains everything that they need to be healthy, as long as we're exercising. So I think that those are some tips that I would certainly take away. I would say that the fifth one is to be mindful, to spend some time in quietness and silence, reflecting, meditating, praying, because that's incredibly powerful also.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. I really appreciate your time. And that was a great segue into our next video next week that we will be sharing or talking about the effects of physical activity and nutrition on the brain. So fantastic. So thank you again. I appreciate you for coming on today, and we will see you soon.
Well, good. Thank you for having me.
Thank you.